I hope my screen is visible to everyone. So as I told, our organization is Aspire Training Research Consulting. We have established and we have started our journey since 2016. And you know that you can see the milestone here. We are into 2026. So we are in dealing with various services like training, research, and consulting. And you can see here our presence. So we are having different branches like our head office, regional head office is in Cochin, and we are having R&D lab in Cochin as well. The regional office in UAE and in Bangalore, Hyderabad, then in Tamil Nadu, which is in Chennai, then Riyadh in KSA, and we are going to open our offices in Mumbai and Oman, Qatar, Jeddah, Delhi, Kolkata, Dammam, etc. So we are still expanding our services to other countries as well. So as I told, we are dealing with different training services. So maybe you're familiar of this all accreditation. So we are accredited with certain accreditation bodies like PMI, GRI, then Fssc, that is Council for Six Sigma Certification, then Bureau Veritas accredited. IOSH, then high field qualifications, and in Dubai, we are approved for Dubai Municipality Approved Training Center, the TUV. We are CGS approved training partner, and in India, you know that Fssc is in food safety training, which is for FSSI. So we are a Fssc empanel training partner and also a member for National Safety Council. As I told, we are delivering training services that which is more than 200 training courses, mostly in management system standards and environment sustainability program. And not only into food safety, we are into occupational health and safety and environment management system, quality management system, and PMI approved training, CSSC approved Six Sigma training programs, and we are delivering all high field approved training courses. Recently, we have not recently before 1 year before we have started PG diploma program, and recently we have started pest management professional program. These are all accredited by HiFi and Dubai municipality approved programs. And apart from that, soft skill program, HR programs, etc. Then into research, we are dealing with market research and feasibility studies. And into consulting, we are having technical consultancy like startup firms, technology in agriculture, farming and processing, aquaculture projects, verification of plans, design layouts, etc. And we are into management system consultancy also, like quality management system, environment, energy, food safety, and all GFSI scheme implementation, then IT, occupational health and safety, social and ethical, agriculture, aquaculture, etc., medical standards as well. Then we are working in sustainability and GST consulting as well. Then we are accredited with BV. Our Kochi office is accredited QMS certified, and our Dubai office is IMS certified. Then you can see here, these are our key clients, the premium clients that we are dealing with, only a few clients. And we are also, as I told, we are in actively working in other countries like Saudi Arabia, Maldives, UAE, and also India as well. So we are having overseas clients. These are our overseas clients. So before moving to the next session, we are privileged to have Dr. Muhammad Rafiq as our speaker for this webinar. So Dr. Muhammad Rafiq has joined with us. Welcome, sir. And Dr. I will just brief about our speaker. So Dr. Muhammad Rafiq holds a PhD in Management System Standards and an MBA in International Business. He is an UK registered IRCA lead auditor for quality, environment, health and safety. Furthermore, he is an empaneled lead trainer and lead auditor with various certification bodies for both audits and training. More than 20 20 years of experience as a consultant and an external auditor on ISO 9001, ISO 14001, and 45001, and various other international management system standards. And he's also a certified auditor for various management system standards. Then 1,300 plus mandates. It's like he's also done different level of external audit in different management system standards. And he is also a GRI certified ESG professional. So this is all about our speaker. So during this session, Dr. Rafiq will share his expertise on key changes introduced in FSSC 22000 version 7, implementation approaches and best practices that can support organizations successfully transitioning to a new requirements and strengthening the food safety management system. We sincerely thank Dr. Muhammad Rafi for taking this time to share his knowledge and insight with us. And I'm also thanking all of the participants for joining this webinar. So without further delay, it's my pleasure to invite Dr. Muhammad Rafiq to begin the session. And thank you. And I wish you all an informative, engaging, and productive webinar. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, right, Anjali. 1 minute. Hi, very good morning, good evening all. I believe I'm audible and loud enough. This is a brief group of participants who are specifically working in food safety management with different organizations. Yeah. So first of all, thank you for joining. And once again, I welcome all of you to this brief session on FSSC 22000 to understand what are the changes, how the standard is progressing or evolving in terms of food safety management. Let us briefly go through it. So the session is planned altogether for about an hour. So including introduction, maybe around 40 minutes session, and maybe around 5 to 7 minutes we can allocate for Q&A as Anjali already explained. So I will quickly run through, the standard, and I will give you an overview of what is FSSC 22000 and what is in version 7, because many of you might be familiar with version 6 already. I understand there will be participants who are first time to FSSC. So I will try to cover what is in the package FSSC scheme and what are the major changes in FSSC 22000 version 7, and what is the timeline announced by FSSC for upgrading to version 7 in the coming months or years. So upgrade process also will be shared briefly during this process. Yeah, FSSC 22000. FSSC 22000 is Food Safety System Certification. FSSC means Food Safety System Certification 22000. The first version of the standard was released in 2010. This is managed by Foundation FSSC. So who owns FSSC 22000? If you check, it is Foundation FSSC, and the first version was released in 2010, which was amended several times to absorb the innovations in the industry, the innovations in scientific side or regulatory side. So yeah, absorbing all the innovations, the standard has evolved over the period of time And now we have version 7, which was released last month. Yeah. So let's say over the period of 16 years, standard revised 7 times. Yeah. And why FSSC 22000? There are many food safety standards available in the market. Yeah. Maybe we are familiar with food safety standards such as HACCP, ISO 22000, FSSC 22000, BRCGS food safety, SQF 2000, or if it is in red meat industry, global red meat standard. Yeah, or if it is seafood industry, there is BAP, seafood processing standard. Different standards have different objectives and its own specific requirement. Now, FSSC is one of the premium food safety standard, very extensive and elaborated food safety standard. It's not one standard, it is a scheme which covers various standard and various requirements, which is GFSI recognized. Almost all of you must be aware of GFSI. GFSI, which is the Global Food Safety Initiative, which is the benchmarking body for food safety standards. Since there are several food safety standards, there is a likely confusion which standard to be followed by the organization, whether it is BRCGS, whether it is HACCP or ISO 22000 or FSSC or SQF. So the answer is any appropriate standard recognized by GFSI is an acceptable standard in the international market. So FSSC 22000 is a GFSI recognized Global Food Safety Initiative benchmarked or recognized certification. And it is a comprehensive food safety management system standard. This standard covers ISO 22000, ISO 22002, and additional requirements, FSSC specific additional requirements, which is very wide, elaborate, and comprehensive in terms of food safety management system. And it enhances customer confidence because since it is a GFSI benchmark standard, it is well accepted in the international market. Many of the brand owners prefer FSSC 22000 as per their certification requirement for their supply chain and improve risk management of the organization. FSSC covers various aspects and demands risk management. For example, it can be allergen risk management, it can be vulnerability related risk management, it can be threat related risk management. So there are various risk management processes involved in the standard. And as I mentioned earlier, various brand owners support FSSC or various brand owners demand FSSC as their vendor management criteria. So for global market access, FSSC 22000 is highly beneficial, and definitely when you follow FSSC 22000, which is a GFSI recognized standard, as I mentioned, by default, it ensures compliance to applicable statutory regulatory requirement, including international market requirements. So these are the advantages of FSSC 22000 scheme and the certification. Now, when it comes to version 7, the revised version, what are the major changes? Yeah, or what is the structure of FSSC 22000? So FSSC 22000, as I mentioned, it's not just one standard. If you compare with BRCGS or IFS Food or ISO 22000 as such, these are all single standalone standards. Like BRCGS, I'll directly compare with BRCGS food safety because these are reputed standards. BRCGS food safety is one standard which explains all the requirements of food safety management system in that standard. But in FSSC, it's not one document that you need to refer. When you say FSSC 22000 scheme, there are 3 or 4 standards by default coming into picture. So at least an organization will have to follow 4 standards. as per version 7. Now, if you see the major requirements, first requirement is FSSC 22000 scheme requirement. This is applicable to the organizations who are implementing FSSC 22000. So scheme requirement of FSSC, that is first one. Second is ISO 22000. A major chunk of the requirements in FSSC scheme is ISO 22000. And third is sector specific PRPs, PRP standards. PRP standards now, last year, ISO released PRP standards, yeah, or released or revised PRP standards. Why is it released or revised? There is new common PRP standard for the food industry, which covers food, feed, and packaging industry. It is known as ISO 22200, ISO 22002-100, which is a common PRP standard for all the food, feed, and packaging industry. And there are sector-specific PRPs. There are 7 PRPs released, released and revised, because again, 6 standards were revised and 1 new standard was released. So sector-specific PRP standard means specific PRP for manufacturing industry, specific for catering or packaging, feed, retail, wholesale, yeah, or storage and distribution, these kind of industry, there are specific PRP standards. So if a manufacturing industry, I'm taking a generic example, a manufacturing industry, let's say a food manufacturing industry, going for FSSC 22000, they will have to follow FSSC 22000 scheme requirement, the first box, the first green box on the screen. Second, ISO 22000, the current version is ISO 22000-2018. The second box on the screen. And third is sector-specific PRP. Sector-specific PRP, there are 2 PRPs are there. The common one, ISO 22000-100 and ISO 22002-1, which is specific to manufacturing. We will see how these are different and how these are connected. Yeah, so the scheme once again clarifies on the screen. You can see ISO 22000 as the first standard, then ISO 22000 additional requirements, the last one which I mentioned here, I'm highlighting here on the screen, and ISO 22200, which is a common PRP standard, and ISO 22002-X. Why I put -X is there are many other PRP standards specific for manufacturing, specific for catering or wholesale retail or storage and distribution, or for feed industry or packaging industry. So specific sector specific PRPs. So this is the structure of the scheme. Earlier there were only 3 standards, like ISO 22000 was there, additional requirements were there, then 1 PRP standard as a common. Now ISO, since ISO released the PRP structure in the form of common plus sector specific. So 2 PRP standards are coming into picture. So maybe when organizations work on FSSC 22000, this is most important aspect to understand what are the PRP standards applicable to the particular organization. Even FSSC has given clarity on applicable standards in their FSSC 22000 scheme document. And what are the major changes in FSSC 22000 version 7? There are editorial changes, many minor amendments as part of continuous improvement in the scheme. And second point is the categorization of the industry. I will take you through that. FSSC has given clarification on the categorization of the food industry with additional details on subcategories. We will see that what exactly it is, and also incorporating new ISO 22002 PRP requirements into the program, which I just explained to you. And there are certain changes in terms of aligning aligning FSSC 22000 to GFSI benchmarking requirements. So GFSI benchmarking requirements were published in 2024. So this version also considers GFSI benchmarking requirements, and there is refinement in the scheme to align very well to GFSI benchmarking requirements. And also sustainability. Yeah, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals have been considered in upgrading version 6 to version 7, especially even in version 6, there were certain requirements related to sustainable development goals like reduction of food waste and food loss and food wastage. So there is again extended requirement in terms of sustainable development goals. So these are the key changes or main drivers for changes to version 7. Yeah. So I was explaining about ISO 22002. Yeah, the additional, the sector specific PRPs. I believe you can see my screen. ISO 22002-1 is specifically for manufacturing. ISO 22002 is for catering. 22002-4 is for packaging and manufacturing industry. -5 is for transport and storage. -6 is for feed and animal food production. -7 for retail and wholesale. You will not find -3 on the screen. -3 is for farming industry. So farming, like whether it is agriculture farm or aquaculture farm, that is not covered in the FSSC scheme. But yes, there is a PRP standard available for your information. And yes, which PRP standard to be followed by different organizations. This is clarified in FSSC scheme document, section part 1. Part 1 of scheme document, there's a table 1, where it is clarified. If you go to FSSC 22000 portal, this document is freely available. So these are different categorizations like B, C, again D, E, F, G. Yeah, this I, K. This is how the industry is categorized. I'll take an example. Category E. E means it's catering or food service. So if it is catering, then what are the standards applicable? It is ISO 22000 2018, ISO 22200 common PRP, and ISO 22002-2 2025. -2 is specifically for catering, sector specific PRP, and FSSC 22000 additional requirements. If it is D, category D, it is for feed industry. Yeah, you can see processing of feed and animal food. There, ISO 22000 2018, 22002-100-6. The third standard is ISO 22002-6 2025, which is specifically for feed and animal food, and then FSSC 22000 additional requirements. And if it is for any other, dry food, for example, factories processing oil, drinking water, beverages, pasta, flour, etc., then it is category C4, where the standards are ISO 22000 2018, 22000-100, 22002-1, and FSSC additional requirements. I believe you have understood how these applicable standards are listed on FSSC scheme document. So based on your industry, your organization, you will have to find which is the most appropriate or relevant category. According to the category, you will have to take a call which standard is applicable to your organization. And getting into the standards, now what is ISO 22000? ISO 22000 2018, which was released in 2018, which covers the requirements of management system as per the 10 clause structure, the high level structure of ISO 22000. Just for your information, here important point to note, ISO 22000 is under review now. Its draft international standard is already published in 2026, like I think a month back or so. So you can expect new ISO 22000 standard probably by the end of the year or next year. So a new standard is coming in. I mean, revision of ISO 22000 2018 is in progress. I'm just keeping you posted. Now, as a main document or as a main document in FSSC 22000 scheme, ISO 22000 is the one of the key requirements. Yeah, so the standard FSSC 22000 scheme itself is a ISO 22000 based scheme. ISO 22000 plus other maybe 2 or 3 standards depending on the sector. Yeah, so ISO 22000, all the 10 clauses are applicable here. Maybe generally we say the section 1, 2, 3 are the introductory clauses. Section 4 to 10 are the auditable clauses, which includes the requirements related to context of the organization, leadership, planning, support, operation, performance evaluation, improvement. This is a PDCA cycle, plan, do, check, act, cycle-based management system standard. So all the requirements of ISO 22000 2018 are applicable. And then I told you about ISO 22200. So this is the common PRP standard, where you can see the title of the standard itself is requirements for food, feed, and packaging supply chain. This was published in July 2025. This is the first edition of common PRP standard for food, feed, and packaging supply chain. And here there are 16 sections. 16 sections means if you really see after the introduction, the first, second, and third sections are introductory clauses. Then there are 13 PRPs. So 3 introductory sections plus 13 PRPs listed here. This forms the common PRP standard. So this includes construction and layout of buildings, design and layout of facilities and workspace, utilities, pest management, pest control, waste, food loss and waste. That is also part of PRP now. Food loss and waste management, recycling, equipment suitability and maintenance, management of purchased materials, storage including warehouse and transport, measures to prevent cross-contamination, cleaning and disinfection, personal hygiene and employee facilities, product and consumer information, food defense and food fraud. Food defense and food fraud has become a PRP, and there are specific requirements in ISO 22200. After this, along with ISO 22200, organization need to choose applicable standard. If it is manufacturing industry, that company will have to choose ISO 22002-1 food manufacturing. So along with ISO 22200, there are very specific requirements like applicable to the manufacturing sector. If it is catering sector. If it is feed sector. So when you implement PRP, like the interesting thing is when you implement PRP, there are requirements mentioned in ISO 22000. There are requirements in ISO 22002. Again, ISO 22002 may be sector specific, -1 to -7. And sometimes you will see in additional requirements also. So this need to be like as a maybe food safety professional, you will have to be very careful when you read and implement the requirements of FSSC 22000. Means or you will have to refer 3 or 4 standards. Depending on the requirement, you will have to refer 3 or 4 standards to come to conclusion what exactly to be implemented and followed. What is the stringent requirement against that particular area, for example, management of purchased materials or supplier management, you will have to refer all the standard requirements and see which is the stringent requirement and all the requirements to be implemented. There will not be conflict with the requirements. All the requirements are complementary and supporting. So you will have to ensure that all the requirements are met. Yeah. Now, additional requirements. In FSSC scheme document, part 2. Part 2 talks about additional requirements. There are 18 additional requirements, yeah, like which are related to management of services or purchased materials, product labeling, printed material, food defense, food fraud, logo use, and so on. I'm not reading everything. The point what I want to highlight here it is, there are minor corrections or major corrections in almost all the requirements, which I highlighted here. 253 food defense, there is major amendment. 254 food fraud mitigation, there is significant amendment. Product design and development, there are changes, significant changes. Traceability, there is major change, and food loss and food waste. So in certain sections, there are major changes. I'll elaborate where there are major changes, especially food defense and food fraud. Food defense and food fraud, the main change is related to requirements related to competency of the people, knowledge and competency of the people who are involved in the development of food defense plan or who are performing food fraud mitigation activities. So enhanced requirement on ensuring knowledge and competency of the people who are doing TASAP study and VASAP study. Like we all know, who are involved in HACCP study, they need to go for HACCP training. So similarly, who are involved in food defense, food defense plan or maybe TASAP plan development, let's say TASAP team or VASAP team, they will have to go for ensuring knowledge and competence, because I'm using the word from the standard as such, knowledge and competence. So, for example, attending training or ensuring that TASAP team is trained in depth in TASAP process or VASAP team is trained in depth in VASAP process. Earlier, this was not an explicit requirement. Now it is added as an explicit requirement. Similarly, product design and development. So when product design and development is carried out, including packaging design, especially those who are in the packaging industry, the extended requirement here, it is more into the primary packaging design and development. So if the organization is involved in the design, development and production of packaging materials, the design shall consider like extended shelf life or minimum, like measures to prevent spoilage or measures to prevent wastage, yeah, or support extended shelf life. If you read the requirement, it is designed in such a way that the packaging shall support minimizing or preventing food loss and food wastage. So this is as part of complying or aligning with sustainable development goals. And again, traceability. Traceability, this clause specifically explains traceability requirements related to where the slaughterhouses, especially in the slaughterhouses, or if the factories are, or the processing center is handling any left maybe residues or byproducts, including blood of animals, and if it is blood, animal carcass, or other edible parts of animal, traceability is a requirement. Normally, traceability is ensured for the red meat or the main component, not for the secondary products or byproducts. So even for byproducts, traceability management is a requirement. There is a specific clause on that. And food loss and food wastage. There is this requirement was added to FSSC 22000 in version 6. Now, in version 7, there is extended requirement. The organizations need to establish clearly defined objectives and targets, measurable objectives and targets with regards to food loss and food waste, like how the organization is going to reduce food wastage or how the organization is going to reduce food loss. This has to be supported by measurable or quantified objectives and targets. So these are the key changes in terms of additional requirements. And finally, getting into version 7 upgrade process. So when the organization need to upgrade their FSSC version 6 to version 7, or when can organization, a new organization, when can they get FSSC version 7 certification? So you can see the standard was published in May 2026, last month. Now, until 30th April 2027, all the organizations will be audited against FSSC 22000 version 6. Yeah. Version 7 audit will be starting from May 1st, 2027. So if a new organization would like to go for FSSC 22000 version 7, they can do it only by 1st May 2027. So this year, maybe let's say another 10 months, only option is to go for FSSC 22000 version 6. Yeah. So there is still another 10 months time to go for FSSC 22000 version 7. And what is the certification process? This is generally, if an organization want to go for FSSC certification, the organization shall implement FSSC 22000 requirements. So now I believe you have understood what are the requirements to be covered. If there are 4 standards to be covered, all the standards to be implemented, apply to a certification body. So application shall be shared with the certification body. Certification body will review the application and then initiate initial audit, the stage 1 audit. Based on the findings of the stage 1 audit, the stage 2 audit will be planned. Stage 1 is normally a preliminary review of the organization's systems, whether it is infrastructure, documentation, competence, awareness, and so on. So they will review the entire system from a high-level perspective. If that is satisfactory, it will be taken to stage 2 audit. Stage 2 audit will be in-depth audit based on all FSSC requirements. And after stage 2 audit, the organization would be certified based on the findings raised. If there are non-conformities to be vacated within a maximum period of 28 days, depending on the severity of the non-conformity, timelines might be reduced also. So anyway, maximum timeline possible after stage 2 audit to close the non-conformities is 28 days. Once non-conformities are vacated, certificate will be issued to the organization and the validity of the certificate will be 3 years. So every year the organization will have to go for surveillance audit. So in a certification cycle, initial certification cycle, there will be stage 1 audit, stage 2 audit, then certificate is received to the site. Then after 1 year, after maybe precise wording is within 12 months from stage 2 audit, there will be surveillance 1. And again, within 12 months, there will be surveillance 2. And by 3rd year, it is going for expiry. So before expiry, the organization will have to go for recertification. Now, important point is any of the surveillance audit would be unannounced audit because it's a GFSI scheme requirement. Like either surveillance 1 or surveillance 2 has to be unannounced, where audit will be carried out without prior notification from the certification body. This is the certification process. That's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone. So here there will be a Q&A session for 5 minutes. So those who want any queries regarding the session, so you can use the emojis there, and please unmute your mic and you can ask to the speaker. So yes, please start.
Hi, sir. Good evening. This is Bonesh from Nilkamal. Sir, now as we discussed, it is going to be revision for the version 7 FSS 22,000. We are going to get a version 7 audit certification. But in the next month, I am having a surveillance audit for the version 6, first surveillance audit. So my certificate is expiring on at 2028 only. So when I can apply for the version 7? So your mic, I think so. Your mic is on mute, sir.
Sorry. Bhuvanesh.
Yes,
Thank you very much for joining the session, and raising this question. Now you are facing audit in June, right? Or you already faced the audit in June?
No. I have in July, I have a surveillance audit. First surveillance audit.
Correct. So July you have first surveillance audit. Now by default, July 2027, you will have to go for version 7. You understood the point?
Yes. So that means I have to go for a recertification for the version 7.
No, it will be surveillance 2 plus upgrade.
Plus upgrade.
Yes, surveillance 2 plus upgrade. So it is not a recertification. So normally it is called as surveillance plus upgrade.
Okay, if I apply for the surveillance plus upgrade, I have completed that. My certification will be published newly for me. I will have a old certificate only.
No, they will reissue the certificate.
But that certificate also will be get expired at 2028.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then another one doubt, sir.
Because I will clarify this point here, Ganesh, because next audit, I don't know, maybe if this audit is announced, if this audit is July audit is announced, next audit to be unannounced. So unannounced plus upgrade to version 7. You will have to be prepared for that. Correct?
Oh.
Because certification cycle to be completed. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, it is announced already. So okay. Sir, and another thing, design and development, na sir.
Yeah.
In this, design department is from HO, from my head office. Right. There is no design department inside the plant. Okay. Correct. For that, I need to show them the design as a scope or not, sir?
No, actually it is site specific. Fssc certification is site specific. So you will have to take a call. What are the activities in the site? For that activity only, you will go for the certification.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Is there any question?
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yes.
Sir, good evening, sir. Myself, Srigari, from Fujairah, UAE. I'm working as a data controller in Dibabe Oysters.
Right.
I have one doubt, sir. Actually, in the new standard, there is a 2000 ISO 22002 sector specific, no, sir, as we were discussed.
Yeah.
-3 is for farming sector, as you said now.
Correct. Yeah.
It can be for agriculture and aquaculture both, and -1 or 2 for something for manufacturing.
Manufacturing, catering, yeah.
Okay, sir. Actually, we are doing both. We are farming oysters and delivering oysters.
Right.
We are packing and manufacturing the oyster and delivering as a live oyster. That is our product, final product. Which sector specific PRP has to be followed by us, sir? Whether it has to be both 3 and 1 or only any one of it?
Yeah, Srihari, your question is very good question, because this complexity happens with many organizations. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, your scenario, you are doing farming plus processing. So, first of all, farming is not covered in the FSSC scheme as of now. Okay. Farming is not covered in FSSC. So, your farm can go for ISO 22000. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
processing center can go for FSSC 22000. So for
Okay.
you,
Here the scope itself getting into two parts, like farming scope and
exactly.
processing scope. Okay.
True, exactly. So
Okay.
farm will be following, our farm can follow ISO 22000. And
Okay.
when you follow ISO 22000 as a best practice, you can also refer ISO 22002-3 PRPs for farms.
PRP
But
for farm.
FSSC certification will be for processing center. Now, to add on to
Okay.
your question, there are many
Yes, sir.
manufacturing companies. They manufacture food products. Along with food product, they also manufacture feed products. Yeah. So
Example, sir. Sorry, I'm not getting into this. Can you get me an example for it?
yeah,
How come?
yeah. If the companies are producing food products, along with
Okay.
that, they have byproduct as feed, or maybe another line as feed in the same compound. In that case, for that kind of companies, they will have to go for ISO 22002-1 and feed specific PRP also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand. Okay.
Yeah. So now they will be having probably 5 standards to be followed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
the
depending on the
okay.
scope. So what happens, when you apply for certification body will review the application based on the products in the scope. You may have to follow maybe additional PRP standards. I have seen, this with
Okay.
companies doing manufacturing plus catering. So manufacturing plus catering means they do manufacturing activity plus public catering. So in that case, they will have to follow ISO 22002-1 plus ISO
Okay.
22002-2.
Okay.
Okay, I believe you got the scenario.
Yes, sir. So, what this the same thing, sir. Since we have this two kind of production, whether the certification has to be done for the separate things, or
No. It
can
will
be
be one
same.
certificate, one site, one certificate, but in the certificate, categories will be mentioned.
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your
Right.
clarification.
Thank you.
Yes. Sir, another thing.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a PRP manual
Right.
as per the version 6. So
Right.
suppose I'm going for the field PRP. So I need to create a new PRP manual, or we can amend the same PRP, previous one.
Means you already have a PRP manual
Manual.
at the moment. Now
Yes,
with
sir.
the revised version, do you need to create a new or amend the existing one? That's the question,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, sir.
No, you can follow the existing one. Please ensure that this is updated in line with the new version.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Maybe Anjali, we can allocate, maybe agree on one more question if anyone has, just to manage the time.
So team, there's one more question because we are on the time. We have only a few minutes left. So anyone can ask, if you want to ask any question, one more question is left for you.
If no question, we may wind up now. Thank you, team. Anjali, over to you.
No question. So, team, I just want to take a moment to hear thank you for everyone. So, as we conclude today's webinar on FSSC 22000 version 7, so I'd like to thank everyone who contributed to making this session a success. First of all, my sincere thanks to Dr. Muhammad Rafiq for sharing his valuable knowledge and practical insights on the latest updates of FSSC 20000 version 7. Your expertise and clear explanations have helped us better understand and the requirements and their implementation. I would also like to thank all the participants for taking this time to join us today. Your interest, your participation, and enthusiasm made the session truly meaningful. A special thanks to our entire team for their efforts in organizing and coordinating this webinar. We hope today's session has been informative and beneficial. and that the knowledge shared will support you in your food safety journey. Thank you once again to our speaker and to all of you for being part of this webinar. Have a wonderful evening ahead, and we look forward to meeting you again in the future training session. Thank you once again. And one more thing, I'll just give the contact details in the chat box. So if you want more details, so if you have any queries regarding the training, so you can please contact us, and also a QR code is given along with that. So you can download our brochure from that as well. Or through the WhatsApp group also, you can contact us for future trainings as well. So thank you all. Thank you once again from us for training.
Thank you. Thank you, Anjali, and thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.